Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship. The UNS Sovereign was the biggest and strongest warship humans had ever built. It was over 1 kilometer long and carried enough weapons to destroy entire cities. Jake never thought he would use this ship for meeting aliens for the first time. The message came on a quiet Tuesday morning. Lieutenant Amy Foster was working at her station when her computer started beeping loudly. She looked at her screen and her eyes went wide. "Captain Morrison, you need to see this right away," Amy said. Her voice was shaking. Jake walked over to her station. On the screen was a signal pattern unlike anything they had seen before. It was coming from a star system called Tau Ceti, about 12 light years from Earth. "What am I looking at, Lieutenant?" Jake asked. "Sir, this is an artificial signal. Someone built machines that sent this message. This is proof that aliens exist," Amy said. The bridge went completely silent. Everyone stopped what they were doing and stared at the screen. After all these years of wondering if humans were alone in the universe, they finally had their answer. Jake immediately called Admiral Kate Sullivan on Earth. Her face appeared on the main screen within minutes. She looked serious and worried. "Admiral, we have detected the first confirmed alien signal," Jake reported. "I know, Captain. Every listening post in the solar system picked it up. We are calling an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council right now," Kate said. Jake knew what this meant. For 50 years, humans had planned for this moment. They had built a special ship called the UNS Harmony, just for meeting aliens. It was filled with scientists, diplomats, and translation computers. The ship had no weapons and was painted white with symbols of peace. "Admiral, I assume you want us to escort the Harmony to Tau Ceti," Jake said. Kate was quiet for a long moment. Then she shook her head. "No, Captain. I am sending the Sovereign alone." Everyone on the bridge looked surprised. Dr. Lisa Park, the lead scientist on the ship, stepped forward. "Admiral, with respect, that seems like the wrong choice. The Sovereign is a warship. What message does that send to the aliens?" Lisa asked. Kate's face became very serious. "Doctor, our computers have been studying this signal for the past 6 hours. This is not just a hello message. These signals are scanning frequencies. Someone has been watching us and studying us. We do not know for how long." Jake felt a chill run down his back. "You think they have been spying on us?" "I think they know everything about us already. They know our technology, our weapons, our weaknesses. If we show up in a peaceful ship with no defenses, we might be making a huge mistake," Kate said. Commander Rick Hayes, Jake's second in command, nodded. "Admiral, if they have been watching us, they already know about our military ships. Trying to hide our strength now would be pointless." Dr. Park looked upset. "But what if they think we are coming to attack them? What if this starts a war?" Kate stared at her through the screen. "Doctor, if they wanted to destroy us, they could have done it already. If they have been watching us for years, they have had plenty of time to attack Earth. The fact that they sent this signal means they want something from us." Jake understood what the Admiral was thinking. In his 20 years as a military officer, he had learned that showing weakness often led to more violence than showing strength. "What are your orders, Admiral?" Jake asked. "You will take the Sovereign to Tau Ceti. You will attempt peaceful contact, but you will do it from a position of strength. Show them what humanity is capable of," Kate said. "What about the diplomatic team?" Dr. Park asked. "You are the diplomatic team now. All of you. Captain Morrison will be our ambassador, and you will be our chief scientist and cultural expert," Kate replied. Jake looked around his bridge. His crew was made up of military officers, not diplomats. Chief Engineer Bob Carter was good at fixing engines, not negotiating with aliens. Lieutenant Amy Foster was an expert at communications, but she had never been trained for first contact protocols. "Admiral, my crew is not trained for this kind of mission," Jake said. "Captain, your crew represents the best of humanity. You are brave, smart, and strong. If anyone can handle first contact, it is you," Kate said. The transmission ended and Jake was left standing on his bridge with a crew that looked both excited and terrified. They were about to become the first humans to meet aliens, and they were going to do it in a ship designed for war. "Sir, what are your orders?" Rick asked. Jake looked at the alien signal still playing on Amy's screen. The pattern was complex and beautiful, but there was something about it that seemed almost predatory. Like a hunter calling to its prey. "We prepare for departure. Amy, I want you to study that signal. Learn everything you can about it. Lisa, start working on communication protocols. We need to be able to talk to them," Jake said. "What about weapons, sir?" Rick asked. Jake was quiet for a moment. Every instinct told him that Admiral Sullivan was right. If these aliens had been watching humanity for years, they knew exactly what they were dealing with. Showing up in a warship would not surprise them. Full combat readiness, Commander. I want every system checked and double-checked. If these aliens want to test us, we will be ready, Jake said. Dr. Park shook her head. Captain, I hope you know what you're doing. This could determine the future of our entire species. I know, Doctor. That is exactly why we cannot afford to show weakness, Jake replied. As his crew began preparing for the most important mission in human history, Jake stared out at the stars. Somewhere out there, alien minds were waiting for humanity to arrive. Whether they came as friends or enemies remained to be seen, but one thing was certain. Humanity would meet them as equals, not as beggars asking for acceptance. The UNS Sovereign began charging its faster-than-light engines. In 6 hours, they would begin a journey that would change everything humanity thought they knew about their place in the universe. Jake only hoped they would live long enough to tell Earth what they found. The journey to Tau Ceti would take 3 months using humanity's newest faster-than-light drive. Captain Jake Morrison had never been on such a long mission with such high stakes. Every day brought them closer to the unknown. The UNS Sovereign was not built for comfort, but Jake had to admit his crew was handling the stress well. The ship had over 800 people on board, from weapons specialists to maintenance workers. Everyone knew they were part of history. Lieutenant Amy Foster spent most of her time in the communications center, studying the alien signals. Every day, the messages became stronger and more complex as they got closer to the Tau Ceti system. Captain, you should see this, Amy called out during the morning briefing. Jake walked over to her station. On her screen were dozens of different signal patterns, each one unique and complex. What am I looking at, Lieutenant? Jake asked. Sir, I have counted at least 15 different signal sources in the Tau Ceti system. Some are coming from the planet itself, but others are coming from space. I think they have built structures in orbit around their planet, Amy explained. Commander Rick Hayes looked over the data. 15 sources means this is not just one alien. This is an entire civilization. Dr. Lisa Park had been working on translation programs for weeks. She looked tired but excited. Captain, I have been analyzing the mathematical patterns in their signals. They are incredibly advanced. Their technology might be centuries ahead of ours. Jake felt both excitement and worry. Meeting advanced aliens could be wonderful for humanity, but it could also be dangerous if they decided humans were a threat. Doctor, have you made any progress on communication? Jake asked. Some. Their language seems to use color patterns as well as sounds. I think they might communicate with light shows on their bodies. Our computers are learning to translate the basic concepts, but complex ideas will be difficult, Lisa said. Chief Engineer Bob Carter had been keeping the ship running perfectly during the long journey. His engines were performing better than expected, and all weapon systems were working at full capacity. Captain, the ship is ready for anything. All systems are green and we have enough supplies for 6 months if needed, Bob reported. Jake nodded. Good work, Chief. How are the crew holding up? Well, sir, everyone is excited but nervous. Some of the younger crew members are having trouble sleeping, but that is normal for a mission like this, Bob said. As the weeks passed, Jake noticed changes in his crew. They were becoming more focused and serious. Everyone understood that they might be humanity's first and only chance to make a good impression on an alien race. Rick spent hours every day running combat simulations. Jake knew his second-in-command was preparing for the worst possible outcome. Commander, show me your latest analysis, Jake said during one of their private meetings. Rick pulled up tactical displays on his computer. Sir, based on the number of signal sources, we could be facing a significant military force. If they have been watching us for years, they know our weapons and tactics. Do you think we can defend ourselves if they attack? Jake asked. Rick was quiet for a moment. Captain, the Sovereign is the most powerful ship humanity has ever built. We have railguns that can punch through solid steel like paper, nuclear missiles that can destroy small moons, and plasma cannons that can melt through any armor. But if they are centuries ahead of us technologically, none of that might matter. Jake understood the situation. They were flying into the unknown with no backup and no way to get help if things went wrong. If the aliens decided to destroy them, Earth would not even know what happened for months. Dr. Park had a different concern. She was worried about making a bad first impression. Captain, what if they think we are aggressive because we came in a warship? What if this ruins any chance of peaceful relations? She asked during dinner one evening. Dr. Admiral Sullivan made the right choice. If these aliens have been watching us, they already know we build warships. Trying to hide that fact would be dishonest, Jake replied. But arriving in a ship designed for war sends a message. We are telling them we expect trouble, Lisa said. Amy looked up from her meal. Maybe that is exactly the message we should send. If they respect strength, showing up defenseless could be seen as weakness. Jake had been thinking about this problem for weeks. Every military officer learned that first impressions mattered in negotiations. Show too much strength and you might start a fight. Show too little, and you might be seen as weak. Doctor, in your analysis of their signals, do you see any evidence of aggressive behavior? Jake asked. Lisa thought carefully before answering. Their scanning patterns are very thorough and systematic. They are studying us the way a scientist studies a new species. But Captain, that could be good or bad. Scientists study things they want to understand, but they also study things they want to control. As they entered their final week of travel, the alien signals became much stronger. Amy reported that the messages were now directed specifically at their ship. Captain, they know we are coming. The signals are pointed directly at us now. They are trying to communicate, Amy announced. Jake felt his heart rate increase. Can you understand what they are saying? Not yet, sir. But the patterns are becoming more repetitive. I think they are trying to establish basic communication protocols, Amy said. Dr. Park worked with Amy to analyze the new messages. After hours of work, they made their first breakthrough. Captain, we think they are counting. The patterns repeat in sequences that match mathematical numbers. They are trying to establish that they understand mathematics, Lisa said. Jake was impressed. The aliens were being smart about first contact. Mathematics was universal, so it was the logical place to start communication. Send back our own counting sequence. Show them we understand, Jake ordered. Amy transmitted a series of mathematical patterns back toward Tau Ceti. Within hours, they received a response. The alien signal had changed to include more complex mathematical concepts. Sir, they are showing us geometry now. Squares, circles, triangles. They are proving they understand complex mathematics, Amy reported. This is good progress. They want to communicate with us, Dr. Park said, looking relieved. But Jake remained cautious. Just because the aliens wanted to communicate did not mean they were friendly. In his experience, enemies often talked before they fought. As the Sovereign approached the edge of the Tau Ceti system, Jake called his senior officers together for a final meeting. In 24 hours, we will drop out of faster-than-light travel and enter alien space. This will be the most important day in human history. Everyone needs to be ready for anything, Jake said. Rick checked his weapons one final time. Amy tested all communication systems. Dr. Park reviewed her translation protocols. Chief Carter made sure every engine and system was working perfectly. Jake stood alone on his bridge looking out at the stars. Tomorrow everything would change. Humanity would no longer be alone in the universe. Whether that was good or bad remained to be seen. The Sovereign's engines hummed as they prepared for their final jump into the unknown. The UNS Sovereign dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Tau Ceti system. Captain Jake Morrison immediately knew they were not alone. Captain, sensors are picking up multiple contacts, Lieutenant Amy Foster announced, her voice tight with tension. Jake looked at the main screen and felt his breath catch in his throat. The Tau Ceti system was filled with artificial structures. Massive orbital stations surrounded the third planet, each one larger than Earth's biggest space stations. Dozens of ships moved between the installations like schools of fish. How many ships are we detecting? Jake asked. Commander Rick Hayes worked at his tactical station analyzing the sensor data. Sir, I count at least 40 vessels of various sizes. The largest ones are over 3 kilometers long. Dr. Lisa Park stared at the screen in wonder. Captain, this is incredible. Their civilization is far more advanced than we estimated. Those orbital structures must house millions of beings. Chief Engineer Bob Carter checked his instruments nervously. Sir, some of those ships are moving toward us. They will reach our position in less than 10 minutes. Jake felt the weight of history on his shoulders. He was about to become the first human being to speak with an alien race. Everything he said and did would affect the future of both species. Red alert. All hands to stations. Raise shields but do not charge weapons unless I give the order, Jake commanded. The bridge lights dimmed to red, and alarm sounds echoed throughout the ship. 800 crew members took their positions, ready for either first contact or the first interstellar war. Within minutes, 12 alien ships surrounded the Sovereign. Jake had never seen anything like them. The vessels seemed to be made of a dark material that absorbed light instead of reflecting it. They moved in perfect formation, flowing around each other like liquid metal. "Captain, their ships are beautiful," Amy whispered. Jake had to agree. The alien vessels were works of art, as much as they were machines. They had no sharp edges or hard lines. Everything curved and flowed in patterns that seemed almost organic. "Sir, incoming transmission," Amy announced. "Put it on the main screen," Jake ordered. The screen flickered, and then Jake saw his first alien. The being was tall and thin, with forearms and skin that seemed to glow with shifting patterns of colored light. Its head was larger than a human head, with big eyes that looked ancient and intelligent. When the alien spoke, its voice was like music mixed with the sound of wind through trees. The translation computer worked hard to convert the sounds into English. "We are the HFY Collective. We have observed your species for 17 of your solar cycles. Why do you come to our space bearing weapons of war?" Jake stepped forward, knowing that his next words would shape humanity's future among the stars. He had practiced this moment in his mind hundreds of times during the journey. "I am Captain Jake Morrison of the United Nations Space Command. We come seeking peaceful contact and mutual understanding between our peoples," Jake said clearly. The alien skin patterns shifted to different colors, pulsing in what seemed like amusement. "Peaceful contact? Your vessel carries enough destructive power to devastate a world. Your species broadcasts entertainment that glorifies violence and conquest. You wage wars among yourselves even as you reach for the stars." Dr. Park moved to stand beside Jake. "We acknowledge our flaws, but we are here to learn and grow. Humanity seeks knowledge and friendship with other intelligent species." Friendship? The alien's patterns now pulsed with what could only be described as laughter. "Child species, there is no friendship among the stars. There are only the strong who survive and the weak who serve or die." The words sent a chill through everyone on the bridge. This was not the peaceful first contact they had hoped for. Jake kept his voice steady. "We did not come here to threaten you or to serve you. We came here as equals, hoping to learn from each other." The alien leaned forward, and its eyes seemed to look directly into Jake's soul. "Equals? You think your primitive weapons and simple technology make you our equals? You are children playing with toys you do not understand." Commander Hayes stepped closer to Jake and whispered, "Sir, their weapons are charging. All ships are powering up some kind of energy systems." Jake felt sweat on his forehead, but he kept his voice calm. "If you consider us children, then teach us. Share your knowledge and we will share ours." "Knowledge must be earned," the alien said. "Your species will be tested to determine if you deserve to continue existing in this galaxy. Pass our test and you may survive as our servants. Fail, and we will reduce your homeworld to ashes." The transmission cut off, and immediately the Sovereign's sensors detected massive energy buildups on all the surrounding alien ships. Dr. Park grabbed Jake's arm. "Captain, this is not first contact. This is a trap. They never intended to be peaceful." Jake looked at his crew. Everyone was staring at him, waiting for orders. He thought about Admiral Sullivan's words before they left Earth. She had said that showing weakness could be more dangerous than showing strength. "Sir, what are your orders?" Rick asked. Jake made a decision that would change everything. "Battle stations. Charge all weapons. If they want to test us, we will show them what humanity is made of." "Captain, we cannot start an interstellar war," Dr. Park protested. "Doctor, I do not think we are starting anything. I think we are finishing something that started the moment they decided to test us instead of talk to us," Jake replied. The alien transmission resumed. The being's face appeared on screen again, but now its expression had changed. The colored patterns on its skin were pulsing faster and brighter. "Captain Morrison, you have 10 of your minutes to surrender your ship and submit to our evaluation. Refuse, and we will demonstrate why the HFY Collective rules this region of space." Jake looked at the alien commander with steady eyes. "We do not surrender. We did not travel 12 light years to bow down to bullies." The alien's patterns flashed bright red. "Then you will learn why weaker species fear us." The first alien beam weapon fired, striking the Sovereign's shields with tremendous force. The ship shook violently, and several crew members were thrown to the floor. "Shields down to 80%, Bob reported from his engineering station. Jake gripped his command chair as another blast hit them. "Return fire. Show them what human weapons can do." The Sovereign's railguns fired, sending tungsten slugs at incredible speed toward the nearest alien ship. The projectiles punched through the alien's shields and hull like bullets through paper. The alien ship exploded in a brilliant flash of light that was visible across the entire star system. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the remaining alien ships opened fire all at once. All weapons, continuous fire. Target the largest ships first, Jake ordered. The battle for humanity's survival had begun. Jake only hoped his ship and crew were strong enough to prove that humans deserved their place among the stars. The Sovereign's weapons spoke with the voice of thunder, and space around them filled with fire and death. Space around the UNS Sovereign became a deadly storm of energy beams and explosions. Captain Jake Morrison held onto his command chair as his ship shook from repeated alien attacks. Shields down to 60%. Chief Engineer Bob Carter called out over the noise of alarms and weapons fire. Jake watched as his crew fought for humanity's survival. Commander Rick Hayes fired the ship's weapons with deadly accuracy. Every shot from their railguns found its target, punching through alien hulls like they were made of thin metal. Target the ship on our left flank, Jake ordered. The Sovereign's plasma cannons rotated and fired, sending streams of superheated matter toward an alien vessel. The beam cut through the enemy ship's shields and melted a hole completely through its hull. The alien ship spun out of control and crashed into one of its companions. Lieutenant Amy Foster worked desperately at her communication station. Captain, I am trying to jam their communications, but their technology is more advanced than ours. Dr. Lisa Park was helping coordinate damage control teams throughout the ship. Captain, we have hull breaches on decks 7 and 12. Medical teams are responding to casualties. Jake felt anger building inside him. These aliens had pretended to want peaceful contact, but they had planned this attack from the beginning. They had studied humanity for 17 years, learning their weaknesses and planning their destruction. Sir, 3 more alien ships are moving to surround us, Rick reported. Jake looked at the tactical display. The Kethvar ships were trying to box in the Sovereign so they could attack from all directions at once. It was a smart strategy, but Jake had been trained by the best military minds on Earth. Full power to rear engines. Take us directly at the largest ship. They will not expect a ramming attack, Jake ordered. Bob worked frantically at his engineering controls. Sir, if we hit them at full speed, it could destroy both ships. Then we better make sure we can stop in time, Jake said grimly. The Sovereign accelerated directly toward the largest alien vessel. The enemy ship was over 3 kilometers long and covered with weapon systems. Its captain seemed surprised by the aggressive move and hesitated for a crucial second. Fire all forward weapons, Jake commanded. Every gun on the front of the Sovereign fired at once. Nuclear missiles, plasma beams, and railgun slugs all hit the alien ship within seconds of each other. The massive vessel's shields collapsed under the concentrated assault. Emergency reverse thrust now, Jake ordered. The Sovereign's engines screamed as they fought to slow the ship's forward momentum. They passed within 50 meters of the alien vessel's hull, close enough to see the damage their weapons had caused. The alien ship tried to return fire, but many of its weapons had been destroyed. The few beams that did fire missed the Sovereign as it accelerated past. Direct hit on their main reactor, Rick announced. That ship is finished. The alien vessel exploded behind them, its destruction lighting up the entire battlefield. Jake allowed himself a moment of satisfaction, but the battle was far from over. Status report, Jake called out. Shields down to 40%, minor damage to the forward hull. All weapon systems operational, Bob reported. We have lost 8 crew members, with 23 wounded, Dr. Park added sadly. Jake felt the weight of those losses, but he could not let grief slow him down. Every person on his ship was depending on his leadership to get them home alive. Sir, the remaining alien ships are regrouping, Amy announced. They are forming a defensive formation around us. Jake counted 7 enemy vessels still active. His ship had destroyed 5 of the original 12, but the survivors looked determined to finish the fight. The alien commander's face appeared on the main screen again. The colored patterns on its skin were now pulsing bright orange and red, which Jake interpreted as anger. Impressive, Captain Morrison. Your species fights with more skill than we expected, but you cannot defeat all of us. Surrender now and we will allow some of your crew to live as slaves, the alien said. Jake stared at the creature with cold eyes. Counteroffer. You surrender to us, and we might let you live long enough to explain why you attacked us. The aliens' patterns flashed to what looked like surprise. You dare make demands of the HFY collective? We have conquered dozens of species across this region of space. You are nothing compared to our power. Then why are half your ships floating in space as wreckage? Jake asked. For the first time since the battle began, the alien seemed unsure of itself. Its skin patterns shifted to colors Jake had not seen before. You fight well for primitives, but you are still outnumbered. Our remaining ships carry enough firepower to destroy you completely, the alien warned. Rick leaned over to whisper in Jake's ear. Sir, our weapons are down to 60% ammunition. If this fight continues much longer, we will run out of missiles. Jake nodded but kept his expression calm. He could not let the alien see any sign of weakness. You know what I think? Jake said to the alien commander. I think you expected an easy victory against weak humans. I think you planned to destroy us quickly and then go attack Earth. But we are not as weak as you thought, and now you are worried. The alien's patterns shifted to deep red. Worried? The HFY fear nothing. Then prove it. Come and fight us one-on-one. If your technology is so superior, you should be able to defeat us without help, Jake challenged. The other alien ships seemed to hesitate. Jake realized he might have found a weakness in their culture. Maybe they had rules about honor in combat? You seek single combat? The alien asked. I seek to prove which species deserves to survive in this galaxy, Jake replied. The alien was quiet for a long moment. Then its skin patterns changed to colors that seemed almost respectful. Very well, Captain Morrison. My ship will face yours alone. When I defeat you, the rest of your crew will surrender to serve the collective. And when we defeat you, your ships will leave this system and never threaten Earth, Jake countered. Agreed, the alien said. The other HFY ships moved away, leaving only the command vessel facing the Sovereign. Jake knew this was humanity's best chance. If they could defeat the alien leader in single combat, it might save both his crew and his home world. All hands prepare for final battle, Jake announced over the ship's communication system. This is for Earth. The two ships faced each other across the void of space. One represented humanity's hopes and dreams of reaching the stars. The other represented an ancient empire that had conquered countless worlds. In moments, one of them would be destroyed, and the fate of two civilizations would be decided. The single combat between the UNS Sovereign and the alien command ship lasted 2 hours. Captain Jake Morrison had never been in such an intense battle. Both ships circled each other like ancient warriors, trading devastating attacks. The alien vessel was larger and more advanced, but the Sovereign had something the HFY commander had not expected: the desperate courage of humans fighting for their survival. Direct hit on their forward shields, Commander Rick Hayes reported as another railgun volley found its target. The alien ship responded with a beam weapon that cut across the Sovereign's hull, melting armor plating like butter. Chief Engineer Bob Carter worked frantically to keep the engines running as damage reports flooded in from all over the ship. Hull breach on Deck 5. Emergency teams responding, Dr. Lisa Park announced. Jake watched the battle unfold on his tactical display. Both ships were taking severe damage, but neither captain was willing to give up. This was no longer just about first contact or territorial disputes. This had become a test of which species had the will to survive. The alien command ship fired a new weapon Jake had not seen before. A sphere of energy struck the Sovereign's shields and seemed to drain power from all their systems. The lights on the bridge dimmed and several control panels went dark. What was that? Jake asked. Bob checked his instruments with shaking hands. Sir, they hit us with some kind of energy drain weapon. Our main power is down to 30%. Jake realized the aliens had been holding back their most powerful weapons until now. If they could disable the Sovereign's power systems, the battle would be over. Transfer all auxiliary power to weapons. Cut life support to non-essential areas if necessary, Jake ordered. Lieutenant Amy Foster looked up from her communication station. Sir, I am picking up transmissions from the other alien ships. I think they are placing bets on the outcome of this fight. Even in the middle of a life-or-death battle, Jake found that detail interesting. Maybe the HFY culture valued individual combat more than he had realized. Sir, their shields are down to critical levels, Rick announced. If we can hit them with everything we have, we might be able to finish this. Jake looked around his bridge at his crew. They were exhausted, wounded, and running low on ammunition, but they had not given up. They were fighting with the same courage that had carried humans from caves to the stars. All weapons, synchronized firing pattern, put everything we have into one concentrated attack, Jake ordered. The Sovereign's remaining missiles launched at the same time as the plasma cannons and railguns fired. Every functioning weapon on the ship sent its destructive power toward the alien vessel. The alien command ship tried to dodge, but it was too damaged to maneuver effectively. The human weapon struck its hull in a devastating series of explosions that lit up space for millions of kilometers. When the light faded, the alien ship was drifting powerless in space. Its hull was cracked open in dozens of places and atmosphere was venting from multiple breaches. "Sir, the enemy ship is disabled. No weapons, no shields, minimal life support," Rick reported. Jake felt relief flood through his body, but he kept his voice steady. "Open a channel to their ship." The alien commander's face appeared on the screen again, but now the being looked very different. Its skin patterns had changed to soft blue and green colors, and its expression seemed almost peaceful. "Captain Morrison," the alien said, "you have fought with honor and skill. The Kethvar Collective acknowledges your victory." "What happens now?" Jake asked. The alien seemed to think carefully before answering. "Now you have earned the right to know the truth. The Kethvar do not rule this region of space through conquest alone. We serve as guardians and teachers for younger species." Dr. Park stepped forward with confusion on her face. "Teachers? You attacked us without warning." The alien's patterns shifted to what seemed like regret. "Doctor, the galaxy is not a peaceful place. Ancient powers move in the darkness between stars. Species that hunt and devour other intelligent life forms. Civilizations that enslave entire worlds for their own purposes." Jake began to understand. This was all a test. "Yes, Captain. Every species that develops faster than light travel eventually encounters the predator races. Those who cannot defend themselves become food or slaves. We test new species to determine if they have the strength to survive what is coming." Amy looked at her instruments in amazement. "Sir, the other alien ships are powering down their weapons. They are moving into friendly formations around us." The alien commander continued explaining. "Your species passed the first test by arriving in a warship instead of a defenseless diplomatic vessel. You passed the second test by refusing to surrender when outnumbered. You passed the final test by defeating our strongest ship in single combat. And if we had failed?" Jake asked. The alien's patterns grew dark. "Then we would have destroyed your ship and prepared defenses around your home world. When the predator species eventually found Earth, your people would have died quickly instead of suffering for years as slaves." The full weight of what had happened hit Jake like a physical blow. The Kethvar had been prepared to commit genocide to prevent a worse fate for humanity. "How many species have you tested?" Dr. Park asked. "In the past 1,000 years, 47 species have developed faster than light travel in this region. 31 failed our tests and were destroyed. 16, including your species, proved strong enough to survive." Bob looked up from his damage control reports. "What happens to the species that pass your tests?" The alien skin patterns brightened with what seemed like hope. "They join the Alliance of Free Worlds. We share technology, knowledge, and military support. Together we protect our region of space from the ancient evils that would destroy us all." Jake felt a mix of emotions: anger at being deceived, relief at surviving, and excitement about humanity's future among the stars. "Will you help us repair our ships?" Jake asked. "Of course, Captain. Your crew fought with such courage that several of our warriors have requested permission to serve alongside humans in future battles." Over the next several days, Kethvar repair teams worked alongside human engineers to fix both damaged fleets. Jake learned that the aliens' advanced technology could heal wounds that would have been fatal for humans, and several of his crew members made full recoveries. Dr. Park worked with Kethvar scientists to establish proper communication protocols and cultural exchange programs. She discovered that the aliens had been studying human entertainment broadcasts and had developed a deep respect for human creativity and determination. When the repairs were complete, the alien commander met with Jake one final time. "Captain Morrison, my ship will escort you back to your home system. We will establish diplomatic relations with your government and begin sharing the technology your species will need to defend itself." "What about the predator species you mentioned?" Jake asked. The alien's patterns grew serious. "They will find Earth eventually. They always do. But when they arrive, they will find a world defended by humans who have proven they cannot be broken or enslaved." As the combined human and alien fleet prepared to return to Earth, Jake stood on his bridge and looked out at the stars. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. and their future among the stars would be written in the language the galaxy understood best. They had announced their presence with fire and courage, and they had earned their place among the free worlds of space. The age of human expansion had begun, and it would be glorious.